Hi, this is Reg Athwal, and welcome to our channel for another one of our episodes on our channel for our show called Next Gen Entrepreneurs, where I get a chance to interview an entrepreneur, a founder of a business, in some cases multiple businesses, that can give us their insights into how to go about building a great company. So on that note, I've got a fantastic guest with us today for our show, and just want to give you a really quick introduction. Jaya Devi is our next guest, and she's a social entrepreneur. I think today around the world, this is really important. More and more people are building social enterprises, becoming social entrepreneurs. So I can't wait to ask her about that journey. A decade ago, Jaya Devi started her journey as an entrepreneur with a very clear mission: to build a business that can support the crafts of India and empower underprivileged women while promoting a sustainable lifestyle. Today, Jaya Devi provides an opportunity for artisans to find a market for their work, and through this effort creates a steady stream of income for them, as well as what she does with her organization. She supports many people with training and employment, local women, and helps them raise their families who are in some cases in dire poverty situations. She's also added many new lines, and recently with an ancient Ayurvedic family using a 200-year-old secret, which I can't wait to find out more about, and also Ayurvedic family formulas that sources ingredients locally as well for that business. She's a founding director of numerous businesses. You can see some of the brands there on the screen, and charitable enterprises as well. Just to name a few, such as getting involved with an orphanage, feeding stray dogs, getting involved in farming areas and tree planting initiatives across India, as well as being part of her own family business. She has also been recognized for many awards, including recognized as the top 100 women list of most successful entrepreneurs in India. So on that note, welcome to the show, Jaya Devi. Nice to have you here.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much. Well, for our viewers who are entrepreneurs, family business owners, next gen members, and in this case, maybe extended family members, especially women and females within a family business environment, we got lots of questions for you. So first of all, with your journey as an entrepreneur, where did it start? Tell us about where it started from.
It started at the age of 19 when I got married and came to Madras, now Chennai. At that time it was Madras. So when I came here, I was just out of college and I really wanted to study something. So that's when my husband told, there is a course for batik and block printing. It is there. So do you want to learn it? At that time, I didn't even know what batik was all about.
I was going to ask you the same question. What is batik? What is that?
Batik is a craft form which is there popular in the Southeast Asian countries. And it was also very popular in India. It is a textile art form where the designs are drawn using hot wax with a needle, and it is hand drawn. So I thought, okay, let me try it, because I was always ready to learn something. I went to the college where they were teaching. It was only a 3-month course. But I knew that when I started doing it, I really loved it. And my teachers who taught me, they told me that you're doing it so well. Please don't stop it, because you seem to be having a flair for it. So that was a great encouragement for me. When I came home, I used to convert my kitchen into my first workshop. And I used to do that for my family and friends. And there were so many people who started ordering more and more. And after some time, I couldn't do it all alone. So then after that,
can I ask you a question? Because I know for you, it's so easy to talk about the journey. And for our viewers, we're trying to take on board every bit of what you're saying. But I want to go back to a few places like the kitchen. You talk about the kitchen, okay? Yeah. For me, whether it's the kitchen or we hear stories about people starting from their garage, somewhere in their home, why is that important for some people? They can get a lot of money, private equity, venture capital, their family give them lots of money to start businesses, but sometimes starting small, from a kitchen, from your garage, not with too much money. Why are these things important for entrepreneurs?
Because I found I was so passionate about it. And one thing, it was giving me a sense of happiness when I was doing it, which I never knew that existed, because I didn't even know that I had a flair for crafts or for drawing. I didn't even know that I had it in me. But when I started doing it, when I was so surprised at myself that I was able to do it so beautifully. And this kind of an art form, which is so prevalent in India, and for me to restart it again, so and give a new life to it, I felt that I had a very important role in it. So I thought, okay, let me anyway. For me, the whole thing was like when by a child given so many toys to play and told you can play all day long. It was like that because I loved what I was doing, and it was making the other people around me happy. So
And
it was only because
my understanding there, Jaya Devi, is that you started the kitchen, like you said, with your passion, but then friends around you started getting interested, didn't they? Where you ended up placing, like I understand, your first order, and then from there, tell us about how that branched out to many ladies and many families.
yes. So when more and more people started ordering, there was one lady who came to me asking for a job. So what I did is, whatever I learned, I taught it to her, and from there it started. So there again, I converted my home terrace into the first workshop, because for me, home, taking care of home, and taking care of my children and my family and business was important. So I didn't want to go out of the house because it was a very comfort zone for me. See, I started with one lady, and now there are more than 50 ladies working with me. But
Actually,
during the initial stages, it helped me a lot to work from home. And these ladies are the ones who are taking care of their families, because here in that segment of the society here, the men hardly take care of the families. It is the women folk who run their families,
wow.
and these ladies. So I was so grateful that I was able to take care of the children's education, getting them married. It is like an extended family. All the 50 families are like an extended family for me. They're still with me now,
So
right from the first lady till the.
let's be clear on this, Jaya Devi. If people are watching right now, from other parts of the world, not from India, Asia, maybe from Africa, Middle East, Europe, and you're watching this right now, I think it's important to understand what Jaya Devi is saying when it comes to social enterprise. She's talking about one lady setting that person up, almost like being a partner, extended family member, and that one person has a huge impact with their family and their community. Is that right?
Exactly. That's what I did it. And the happiness that it gives me is immense. Like, I can't measure that happiness, because uh, the way their life was getting transformed, because from nothing, when they're able to do something, and the the empowerment that they are getting, it was amazing. So along the way, what I also did was, there's a institution called Banyan here, which is taking care of the mentally challenged women. So,
Right.
like, the founder of Banyan asked me, Jaya, can you please give some kind of a training for our inmates as well? Because most of the inmates who are rehabilitated, they are not taken back into their homes.
Right.
Nobody wants them in their homes. So she asked, can you teach them some sort of a skill? So I told my workshop, by then my workshop had gone to a bigger unit outside in the outer city limits. So I told my ladies, like, see, these inmates from Banyan are going to come. We have to teach them whatever it may be.
Mhm.
So these ladies started coming. Some days they will be very moody because of their illness, but some days they'll be very happy. I told my ladies, whatever it may be, we are teaching them. So my ladies also had the kind of patience to deal with them. And by the end of 3 months, they were doing all these craft forms so beautifully. And every month after month, they were getting salaries. For them, it's the first time they're getting salary in their lifetimes, because they had never stepped out of their abandoned institution. And for them to earn some money on their own, it made a huge difference for their personality and for their well-being. And it was such a trailblazing story for
That's
them to go
brilliant.
and tell the
Yeah.
other inmates in Bangalore.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Fantastic. Well done. And that is definitely a great way of building a social enterprise and giving back. I'm curious to know, in my notes I've got here, Kalamkari, and you mentioned Batik. So I think there's a really good insight here for people watching, which is, if you're thinking about a business idea, what you did is you looked for things that were slowly disappearing as arts, and you found an opportunity. So I think there's a good learning there, which is what's out there right now that could be disappearing, and maybe
Yes.
how can you bring it back? But tell us about, a bit about these very niche areas of art of Kalamkari. What is that, and why was it disappearing?
See, what I'm wearing now is Kalamkari. Okay, this is an art which is drawn by the hand, and then dyes are natural dyes. We don't use any chemical dyes in this. And every dye is extracted from the plants. The plant is the source for that. And we need running river water to do the dyeing. And since it is natural color, there is no way that the river is getting harmed. But we need the flowing water.
Yeah.
This particular Kalamkari art form that we do, there is a temple town in South India called Kalahasti. It is around the temple town that these Kalamkari artisans have settled for generations together. It is only they can do this particular art form because they have been doing it for centuries together, and this art runs in their blood. So, like they do any kind of design that we give for them, they do it. So, what I saw is like when these artisans, when they are left to themselves, there's not much kind of the way they turn out the products is not that great. They used to do bed sheets and curtains, and which is not so much of a demand. And people used to buy it for a very, very cheap price. But at the same time, when we give a design and tell them this is how we want the placement, this is what the end product should be, they take the time to do it. For example, one sari even will take 2 months. At least some 10 ladies will be working on a sari on both sides. Because the work is so intricate, it is drawn by hand. Every color can be has to be hand drawn, and then the second color has to be done. It's a very time-taking process.
So what we're going to do, Jaya Devi, for you is for viewers, make sure you head down to the description area, or if you end up on YouTube, the full description there. We'll make sure that there's a couple of links there to some other videos where you can watch some of this happening, okay? So you can find out more. I'm curious, just to go down a different path for a second, which is, are more and more Indian women rising to leadership roles? Are more Indian women in India right now becoming entrepreneurs? Is that happening? Or is there still obstacles, hurdles to overcome?
We have come a long way than what was earlier, at least a decade back. Like there is so much of freedom for women in India, and it has been taken in the right manner. The people at home, like right from father to husband to brother, everyone is very, very encouraging, and it is a great time for women in India. There are the other flip side to it that we see, read in the newspaper. But one thing what I feel is we have to take things in our own hand. The freedom is there. It is up to us to use it and use it in the right way, because nobody is going to stop what we want to do. If we are passionate about something, nobody can stop it, and there is enough and more freedom in our country to do it, to follow a passion and to follow our dreams.
So how do you manage everything? You mentioned a very important statement earlier, which is a man can't do this. These women are the ones who look after all their families. So as an entrepreneur, when you think about your children, you think about your home, you think about your family, what tips have you got for other females out there, young women who want to become entrepreneurs, but they're thinking, how do I do this when I have to juggle everything else going on in the family? What tips do you have for them?
First is like we have to find a work which we are passionate about. If you are passionate about what we do, we will never feel that it's a big job or out there. We will be loving what we do. And also second, on the flip side, we have to have a great husband who is supporting us. And that's very, very important. A supportive family is very important for me. I'm so grateful that I had a very supportive husband and the supportive in-laws. Both my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they just encouraged me like to do what I wanted to do.
Well, that brings up a different topic. Sorry, I have to interrupt you, which is, what makes a great husband? That's a different episode.
That's right.
That's it. But on a serious note, when you say good husband, I mean, there's obviously some basic principles and values that are important to make a relationship work, but to make sure then the business can also work. Yes.
Yeah. So like another simple thing that what I do is like, I don't try to do everything on myself. Whatever can be delegated, I always delegate it. For example, at home, running the home, I kept staff whom I have trained very well. They do many of the things which I can do. When they can do very well like the way I do, I just leave it to them. I don't try to micromanage things. I just delegate it and leave it because that gives me more peace of mind. That gives me enough time to take care of the so many kind of different areas which I take care. So delegation is important, and having the right people at the right time and the great supportive family, because I feel like at the end of the day, we all come back to the family to share our joys and sorrows or whatever it is. So sharing our day-to-day activities with our husband, with our children, they also understand. They also want to see us grow. They want to see us happy. So I think it's and moreover, like whenever it comes to the family, like while taking care of children, when it is something very important for them, like when they were in the school going days, like I was always there for them. I never used to compromise that time for the any other kind of work. So that's why initially for me, I was very lucky that I could run my business from home, which really helped me a lot. And those kind of
Brilliant.
small adjustments are needed.
Some really good tips there. And I admire all women entrepreneurs, all women in business, because I think women are just overall a lot more stronger in many ways than men. They really are. So talk us through, how did you get this 200-year secret formula, this Ayurvedic
Yes.
family formula, and then how did you turn that into a product?
So this 200-year-old legacy is from my father-in-law's side.
Wow.
So my husband's father, yeah, it's so the Medimic soap is made out of the 200-year-old legacy. So Medimic soap is an Ayurvedic soap which my family owns, and this particular family, my father-in-law's family, they are called as the Cholin family. They have been in the Ayurvedic. They all have been Ayurvedic physicians for the past 200 years. They all have been doctors. They are called as Vaidyas
Right.
in ancient India. So generation after generation, they all have been Vaidyas. And there was a particular story, it's quite a long story, where we got a particular formulation. Well, there was one kind of saint who came and lived 200 years back in my forefather's house, and he stayed in our house. And once he passed out, he before he passing out, he gave us a bunch of Ayurvedic formulations, and he told, once I go, like your family can use all these formulations. And my family has been using those kind of formulations. And there's a particular kind of oil which is very, very good for skin care, any kind of skin ailments. This particular kind of oil, if you use, it cures the skin. It is called as the Vipradi oil, which we use in the Medimic soap. So this oil formulation was given by this ancestral saint who came to our family. And that oil is the one which my father-in-law used in the making of the Medimic soap. My father-in-law is both an allopathic and an Ayurvedic doctor. So while he was treating the patients in the railway hospital, so there were so many people who used to come to him for skin ailments. So he thought, okay, why not treat them with this family oil that he had at home? So he started making this oil in bulk and he used to give them, and the patients found it very, very effective. So then he thought it is very cumbersome for the people to use it as an oil. So why not convert that oil into a soap? So that's how he started making.
I think there's a pattern. There's a pattern here, Jaya Devi, of your success. I can see a pattern now twice. Again, people watching here, this is something that you should look at. You find your passion, but also find a model that works. So, we've talked about disappearing arts. We've talked about ingredients coming from something that's 200 years old, and there's a pattern here. Well done, and you've turned these all into businesses. Can I ask you, how do you balance and how do you get it right in terms of the family business side, where you're a director, head of research and development for the center? You've obviously got your own businesses as well, and then you're involved in many non-profit areas. How do you balance all of that, number one? And what tips have you got for other people on, there's a whole debate here around joining your family business or not and doing your own thing. And that happens with a lot of people. They're either professionals or they become entrepreneurs, but they don't join the family business. And you've managed to find that balance of doing both. So could you talk us through what challenges you may have had and what tips you've got for our viewers of how do you get all of that right?
Sure. So I started business, that's what I was doing. But at the same time, we were called for the family business board meetings every month. So like, so that way that was by the entire family, and my in-law, my father-in-law used to conduct it, and we all used to attend it. So it was a big eye opener for me to know how the family business is running and what are the things that we do there. So one day when I went, my father-in-law and my husband told me, from tomorrow you start going to the R&D. You have to start taking care of the R&D. So I told them, like, what do I do? Like, I don't know anything about R&D. They told, it's okay, go there and figure it out yourself. You can learn. Then when I came back, I thought, okay, if they are telling me to do it, maybe they should have seen something in me that I'm not aware of myself. And I was always open to learning anything new. So I thought, okay, if they have the confidence in me, why not try it out? So from the next day, I started going to a research and development wing. And that place is full of all scientists. And I told them, see, I have come here to learn from each and every one of you. Thankfully, I was a science graduate and I had chemistry in college. So all these scientific things that was happening in the R&D, I could easily understand. And from that day till now, I am a student here. At the same time, since I was getting involved in the R&D activities also, I thought, okay, like, why not start making my own range of some kind of exotic Ayurvedic products. So that's how I started another range of Ayurvedic products with very exotic ingredients,
Yeah.
and exotics and natural fragrances. And I started making another range of soaps, body lotions, shampoos, and creams, and all that. And after that, now my son has come back from the US after his undergrad, and he told me like he'll join me in the business. And now we have named that company as Sadev. So my son is taking care of the marketing and sales of that, and
Love
I'm
it.
taking care of.
What a great story, and the legacy
Yeah.
now can continue through to the next generation. That's wonderful.
Yes. I'm taking care of the product development. I take care of it. Along with the scientists, we have an amazing set of scientists here at our R&D. So we sit together, we think, we brainstorm as to what are the kind of products we need, what ingredients should go, and we have excellent team of Ayurvedic doctors here, because every ingredient that we make is all Ayurvedic, and our doctors and scientists, we think together and see which ingredient should be added for the kind of efficacy that we are looking for. And my son, being the next gen entrepreneur so he has taken it up many notches higher. I'm really grateful for the way he's taking care of Sadev. And Sadev is it has become a national name now. And next year only he's planning for the international presence. But now I'm very, very grateful for the kind of response that we are getting.
Great story, great story. I look forward to interviewing your son at some stage as well. So let's with the time that we've got, let's explore some of the other areas of your journey. Naval Kapam, is that pronounced correct? There's a village near your family farm, and you're teaching there every weekend.
Yes.
Tell us, what are you teaching? Who are you teaching? What are you teaching? And how has this come about?
So this came about because in the meanwhile, we wanted to do organic farming. All the herbs that we use for our medimix and for the Sadev Ayurveda, everything is grown in our 100-acre property in the outskirts of Chennai. So since it was an organic farming, then I was visiting the farm every now and then. Then I thought, okay, since I'm visiting, there are villages next to that. Let us find out what the village children need. So I told my HR team, find out what the children need. So unanimously, everyone wanted to learn to speak English. And that's what they wanted. So then what I did is I started sending teachers from Chennai to the village. It takes 1.5 hours journey, one way. So our teachers used to go every Saturday. Meanwhile, they identified teachers from the village itself. They were all engineering graduates. They had done after they're getting married, they're not doing any work. So we told them what is to be done. And we used to get all the children coming back from the school, sit in Anganwadi. There's a small place there where the children can come and sit there every day after the school hours. All these children are first generation schoolgoers. In the parents that at home, the parents can't, they are not in a position to clear the doubts about any kind of maths or any kind of doubts they have. So these children, we have for that.
Yeah.
These are teaching the children to do up with the homeworks, and all the children started studying so well, and the teacher started asking, how is it suddenly all of you have started doing so well in the exams, and everyone started passing in all the exams. So that's when the teachers started noticing the kind of difference that's happening in their lives, and seeing that the neighborhood village elder came and asked our farm manager, will you please tell your ma'am to adopt our village as well? And now we have adopted that village. Now we have more than 90 children with us in 2 villages together, put together. And it is such an amazing thing to see the kind of children, the way the children are taking interest in their education and the transformation that's happening.
Brilliant. Again, you're showing us that one can have multiple talents, okay? Multiple talents. One could be creative, but that creativity can also be expressed in different ways. And then the list goes on. I mean, I've got my notes. I can't actually get my head around how many things you're involved in and what you've done, from, you know, not only the teaching, not only your own businesses, the family business, you've got involved in organic farming, you've got involved in some orphanages that you're supporting, planting trees, you're a yoga practitioner. I can't keep up with you. How do you do all this?
I think it's, I just love what I do. So it doesn't feel like a chore at all. I just love it and I enjoy doing it. So, and my meditation and my spiritual practices keeps me balanced. So that's all I think.
What about the flip side, Jaya Devi? Can I ask you, you know, we talked about all the successes and the things that have worked and good. What about the flip side? What would you say have been some of the mistakes over the years, challenges, failures, obstacles, which you've learned from, that's helped you grow, become stronger, but where the viewers can learn from that? What have been some of those things in the past?
One thing what I understood was I should try my hand at really what I'm really good at or what I'm passionate about. So one day my father-in-law told me we have an Ayurvedic medicine manufacturing unit, where we export medicines to different parts of the world. It's 100% Ayurvedic. So my father-in-law told, will you start taking care of that? So I didn't want to say no to him. So I told, let me try, let me go and start looking into that. So the next day I went to the office and it was all accounts. I had to take care of the accounting part of it. And when I saw that, I just couldn't focus on that at all. Because like the moment I look into that, my mind was feeling drowsy. I didn't have the interest at all in that. So like what I felt is like, I may be good at creative things, but not good at accounts at all. The flip side is I'm not good at accounts. Thankfully, we have very good people who are taking care of the accounts part of it. So then I thought, okay, I didn't want to waste my time in something which I don't have the interest at all. And another flip side is like we started a yoga studio. So like during the COVID time, we had to shut it down. And the thing is, like, before starting the yoga studio, like the person with whom we started, he came and asked us. So my family, when I went and told them, my office and my husband, they asked me, why do you want to get into that? You really want to get into that? So I told them, like, since we are in the holistic business, let's try to do it. But then, like, we did the interiors of the yoga studio beautifully. It is one of the best studios in Chennai, in fact. But then, like, now we had to close it down. And I felt bad that anyway, we are not planning to run it. I felt bad that we spent so much of money on it and we are not going to run it. So like, why did I tell my family to put money on that and make it? Right. So I feel bad about it. That is another flip side of my over enthusiasm, I think.
Got it. So sometimes what I'm getting from what you're saying is sometimes, you know, there's many things we can get into, but you've got to search inside to go, right, does this fit? Is this right for me? And there's many people who end up getting involved in things that they're not deeply passionate about. And it doesn't give them fulfillment and satisfaction. And they wonder why long-term they're not happy. Can I ask you, you're a spiritual person as well. What are some of your spiritual beliefs or principles in life that you live by?
For me, charity, because I feel like charity begins at home. And there's such a sense of happiness when we are able to help other people. I always keep 10% of my income aside for charity purpose. Every month after month, I do it. And anybody who comes to us, all the people who work with us, anybody comes through for, not only people who are working with us, anybody wants, if I belong to the Rotary and the Inner Wheel group, anybody wants any help, they tell us, and we immediately do that with a charity amount. So for me, like, when we have that kind of an attitude, it makes us so humble, because we are only keepers. We don't own that money. We are only keepers in this earth for the time that we are there in this earth, and we are only the safekeepers of that, and we have to pass it on to the next person who's taking care of it. So, like, everything has come to us through God, and I feel I am so grateful for whatever has been given to me, because all these things keeps us humble, and the humility is very important, charity is very important, and our children look at us and learn, because I feel there is no need to tell our children do this and do that. They learn from every single thing that we speak and we do, our actions. And I'm so grateful. Both my children are taken after that. They also, like, for my daughter, for example, for her birthday, even for her friend's birthday, what she gifted was, her friend is living in Malaysia now. So for her friend's birthday, she fed 300 stray dogs for her friend. That was a gift from my daughter to her friend.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a special kind of a group here, where when they give it, they write the name of the person to whom it goes. And she fed 300 dogs and 300 people, and that on that particular day. And my daughter does it on an everyday basis. Even my son does it. So, like, I feel these are all important things which we have to pass on to the next generation. And I feel it is the younger generation now, which is such a wonderful generation. The youngsters these days, they're very well aware of what is right and wrong. Even, for example, the eco-friendly nature of this whole world is because of the younger generation. They become so conscious about it, and the world is becoming a better place because of the next gen and that holistic belief that they have.
Lovely. You have a beautiful soul. You know, I can see how your spirituality is being expressed. But one question I've got for you, I mean, with your family business, you mentioned your father-in-law a few times indirectly, but there's many businesses out there, family businesses, where one gets married into the family and there's a family business, but, you know, traditionally, because of culture and other reasons, spouses are not allowed to get into the family business. Okay. What are your thoughts around that? Because that obviously has not happened with you, and you've been extremely successful and then gone on to be an entrepreneur in your own right. Do you have any opinions around that? What's happening still culturally across Asia when it comes to family businesses and spouses not being part of it?
Yeah, because there are so many cultures here, even in South India, where they don't allow a woman to take part in the family business, which is very sad for that company, I feel. Because I feel women have so much to offer. And especially for the family business, they have so much to offer. And I can also happily say that many changes happened even in our family business also because of of my involvement as well. So when we have so much of a talent in us, that particular family is being deprived of the talent when they are not involving their women folk into their business. Exactly. It is not only in the at home; they can shine everywhere. They are losing out when they don't involve their women folk into the business. That's what I feel.
Yeah. There you go. That means that's the end of our episode. No.
Yeah. They should understand
Yeah.
the emotional intelligence and the intuitive intelligence a woman brings. It is something astounding. Many times we will be able to take instant decisions, which is very, very right. We have the strong gut feeling. And many times it is right. So I feel sometimes they're missing out on that, which is sad for them.
That's very powerful. Last question I've got for you before your alarm clock goes off again to get rid of me, and it's the end of the episode. No, I'm only kidding. Is the future? I want to talk a bit about the future. You know, next 10 years for what you're doing with your various social enterprises, sustainable enterprises, plus the family business. What do you see in the future? Next 10 years.
To tell you the fact, I never planned ahead. I always lived at the moment, and I just planned only for that day and for the next day. So I never planned anything so far. But what we are also having is we have an Ayurvedic an Ayurvedic center. What we are going to do is, like, at the moment we have 2 centers. We are going to build, make another one which is very, very high end. Because the brand which I'm doing with my son is called Sadev, and that is a luxury Ayurveda. So we want to introduce this luxury Ayurvedic treatment centers in Chennai, and we are going to come out with an Ayurvedic resort sort in the organic farming where we do. It's quite a big space. We want to create an Ayurvedic center over there. And it's not only Ayurveda. We want to introduce all kind of alternative therapies which will help heal people in every way. Because there are so many alternative therapies available in the world. I want to bring about that in that place, and also a place where they can come and meditate, because I'm strong into meditation, where all those things can be practiced over there.
Fantastic. So I think some really good points there for your future vision. I know you say you only focus on short term. I get that, but I'm feeling that you are someone with lots of creative ideas for the future, and I know you're being very, very humble about that. So I think it brings us towards the end of our episode. For the viewers, I hope you've enjoyed the interview with Jaya Devi. For those who stayed towards the end, don't forget to subscribe to our channels. Go to the description area and you'll find out more about Jaya Devi's businesses, social enterprises, charitable areas, and links to some of her videos as well online. And definitely go and check out her websites to find out more about her formulas, products, and what she's doing with many, many families in India. Jaya Devi, thank you very much for your time, and keep up the good work. No wonder you're in the top 100 list for women entrepreneurs. I can see why now, and I look forward to interviewing you again at some time in the future as you build your centers and we find out how you're getting on.
Thank you, Reg, for that. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.